Howdy everyone, this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I put together this festive fall pumpkin grapevine wreath. It was actually really simple to do. You can easily recreate it. I've used some ribbons, some florals, and even these little grapevine balls to decorate it. So let's get to crafting. Alright, so I'm going to be making my wreath on this pumpkin shape. This is a grapevine wreath and I got this from Hobby Lobby, I believe. This is the tag so that you can see that. And I believe I got it at 40% off. It's regular $14.99. So it's not bad. It's a nice shaped wreath. Now, if you don't find one that's shaped in a pumpkin, you can always use 3 separate wreaths and just place them, you know, overlapping each other so that you create that shape. All right, so to the top of my pumpkin, I want to add nice big bow right here, but I also want to add some raffia. So I'm going to take some of that first and then just tie some around and let that just kind of dangle off to the sides or downward. Depends on the mood of this raffia. So I'm just going to take some lengths like that and wrap it around. And you could wrap it around obviously with what is the stem part, but I want this to be just down here just because I don't want to hide it too much, or actually I'm going to be putting my bow a little bit lower here and I don't want to hide the stem thing. It might get hidden away, but you know, we're going to try not to. And just knot it around and just put as much as you want, and I'm just going to knot it one more time. So I've added my raffia first and that'll just kind of dangle downward like that. Alright, so now I've got some ribbons that I want to use, and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't even remember where I got this ribbon from. It might have been from a local flower shop here in our city, but they do have similar ones at Hobby Lobby. It doesn't have a Hobby Lobby label, which would be like this one, or it would say fall, and I would know that it was from Hobby Lobby because it would be just like these labels right here. This one is from Hobby Lobby, and I chose this to coordinate because on this ribbon it does have the black and white checker underneath, and then it's got some orange pumpkins in the top, and I thought that looked really pretty. But I also have these smaller ones as well. This thin one here with some maple leaves, some little acorns and pumpkins, and a little gingham orange, kind of a burnt orange color here. I thought these were all so pretty, so I'm going to use them all. So I'm going to start making my bows. I'm going to go ahead and make one out of this ribbon first, and I'm going to be using floral wire, but you can use a chenille stem to tie that up. Okay, so let me see how I want this to look. I want some long tails like that. So I'm going to start off with that, and then I want to make my first loop so I can decide how big I want this. And like I said, I want a big bow. So I think that'll be good, right about there. And this is, I'll measure it just to let you know. This is 6 inches like that, so it's 12 inches of fabric or ribbon that I've taken and folded it down. Okay, so now I'm just twisting, and I'll continue making my loops. Is just bring it up along with this one and match them so that I know that they're the same length. Let's move these items out of the way. There we go. And I'll just make as many loops as I want. So I'm just going to continue with this. I know that I've used this ribbon before, so I still have some in there, so I know that I'm okay. And then just continue looping and make as many loops as I want. I think I'm going to make 8, so I'm going to make 1 more on this side and then 1 more on this side, and that should be it. And here we are. We've done it, or at least I've done it. And now I'm going to cut another long tail. We'll fix those ends, so don't worry about that right now. And then we're going to cut some floral wire, about 8 inches, 6 or 8 inches is good. And then we'll use that to tie around our bow, just like we would a chenille stem. And I like to twist on the bow rather than on the wires or chenille stems, because that tightens everything towards the fabric of the ribbon and keeps everything nice and tight. And then I have some nice long pieces of wire at the ends here, so that then I can use that to tie around on my wreath. So we'll put that on there. And then always make sure that all your little sharp ends, whether it's a chenille stem or a plain floral wire, there's going to be these little sharp ends of wire. So you want to bend those and push them into the wreath. Okay, so now we're just going to take our little tails, put them downward. And I'm not going to bother poofing up my bow too much because I want to put more on there, and I'll be fiddling around with my wreath and it'll just flatten these loops down So I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat the process. But now I'm gonna go ahead and use this ribbon. And I think instead of doing 6 inches like that, I'm gonna do 5. So that means I'm gonna use 10 inches for each loop. And I'm gonna do 8 again. Altogether 8 loops. All right, I'm done with my bow. This time I cut my wire just a little bit longer than the other one, only because now it's going to get wrapped around the thickness of this bow, including the wreath. Or what I could do is just cut a short piece of wire, wrap it up, and then bend it into there, and I can just hot glue that right on there and then let it sit and wait till it's all dry before you move things around. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put on this bow on here, and this is another reason why you don't need to poof it up, because you just want to find the center of the other bow and wrap around the wires of that bow, and we do the same thing on the back. Now this wreath has this little rope here to hang it, and yours doesn't. Just add a little rope or a chenille stem. And now I'm going to go ahead and poof it up because I want my bow to look really pretty, and I want to see what I have. Let me turn it around this way so you can see what I'm doing. See, everything is fanned out, and now we can poof. So always make sure whatever you're going to hang it with, put it on behind your wreath before you start poofing all your bows, because you know they get squished when you move things around and turn it over to add anything to the back or wire things down. So always poof it at the end. I mean, you might end up poofing it a whole bunch of times, even when you get it on the wall or on your door, wherever you decide you're going to hang this. So here we go. I just poofed it up, and it looks so pretty and so full. And you can just add more if you feel like you want lots more ribbon. And that seems to be the style lately, that everybody just adds a ton of ribbons to everything. Okay, so now I want to add these here. So I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to make them at a smaller scale. All right, so I have finished all my little bows, and the only other thing that I want to do is I want to cut the ends. And these I'm just going to cut them at an angle. You can cut them straight or do little dovetails on them, but they're kind of thin, so I don't need dovetails on these. All right, so let's see. Now I'm going to take these other ends, and these I'm going to actually fold them in half and do little dovetails on them, just like that. And for these smaller little bows, I'm just going to hot glue them in. I believe I mentioned that, I'm not sure. But I'm also going to fold down the little ends here. Just roll them downward so you have a place there for some glue. And then you can just stick them wherever you want. So just some hot glue right there. I'm going to put one kind of facing this way, and I'll do the other one on the other side. Right there. See how that fills it up? And I'll have these 2 smaller ones that I also want to add in there. And like I said, do as many as you want and just tuck them in anywhere you want. I'm just going to tuck these right in here, right in the middle of the other ribbon. And there we go. You can see now that it looks really full. But look how beautiful that looks. All right, so now I want to add some leaves and some flowers. All right, so here are my leaves and my flowers. These are all from the Dollar Tree. I just have a little bit of an assortment here. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use. I do know that I'm going to use this one for sure because it's got the little black-eyed, you know, I think these are called black-eyed Susans. I'm not really sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they got the little button in the middle. It's not black. It's really a dark brown, but it almost looks black. And I want to use those because they coordinate with the, you know, the black of the ribbon here and the orange. Okay, so then I have these leaves here. I also grabbed these roses. And then I had these little burnt orange hydrangeas. And then these little orange, I don't know what these are. Oh, they're mini mums. There we go. These are all from the Dollar Tree. Of course, you can grab your flowers from wherever you want. Now, if you're asking yourselves, or, you know, wondering, or you're going to ask me, why didn't I put my flowers down and then my bow? Because I wanted a really big bow. I wasn't sure exactly where it was going to sit on here, so I don't want to put flowers and leaves on here and then cover it all up with a big bow. So what I'm just going to do is just underneath here on the grapevine, I will glue some leaves and some flowers, and they will stay in a position where they won't get hidden away. So I'm going to start off with these flowers. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and use 4 of these, or maybe I'll go ahead and use all 5 of these. I'm just going to cut them at their longest point because I don't know how short I need them. So just cut them on their longest point off the stem, the little bush stem that originally came on. I'm going to grab this longer one And I'm just gonna fold it up like that, you know, just bend it right here on the stem, right behind there. And I'm gonna tuck it in here, and I need to decide how long do I want it. I can put some leaves right here to hide that stem, okay? So I'm just gonna go a little bit shorter. I feel like it's a little too long. There we go, that looks good. Okay, so just some glue on the tip of the stem, and then we're gonna tuck it in under our bow and push it into the grapevine. There we go, there we go. That's good. And then we'll just bend it a little bit more to make sure that it's facing, you know, the way that we want it to face. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add some more of these. I'm gonna add 2 more over here and 2 more on this other side. I had to do a little adjusting just to make sure that one was not turning over on me. I feel this one is just fine, the length that it is. So I'm not gonna cut that one. And this is what I mean by poofing your bows at the end, because look, I've already squished down one of my loops. As you can see, I've already added all the 5 flowers that I wanted to put on there. My next step is to add some of these leaves. So that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna continue just like I did with these flowers, bending these up just a little bit, putting some glue, and inserting it. All I'm doing is inserting it into the grapevine, and you wanna insert it really well in there and make sure it's caught between the little stems of the grapevine, so that that glue that we've placed there glues onto there and it won't move. So that's all I'm doing. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. Now when I place the leaves, I don't want to hide the main flowers here, so make sure you're not hiding them. Okay, I'm just going to push these up a little bit, my loops on my bow, so that I can easily see where I'm going to be putting these into. Okay, put these back down and see how it's looking. So far so good, but I want to add more. So I've got more leaves that I can still add in there, so I'm going to add those. I've got a couple more flowers. I think I've gone ahead and I've decided that I don't need to use everything that I have, all the flowers that I showed you. I'm just going to use a few. So I believe I'm going to maybe use some of these as well as these leaves. All right, so I'll be back. All you're going to do is just put leaves and flowers wherever you want, decorate it in any way you want, with as many leaves and as many flowers as your heart desires. I wish I had some cream flowers, because I think that would have brought out a little more of this lighter creamy ribbon here, but I'm working with what I've got. All right, before I continue adding flowers and coming back with the finished product, I just want to tell you something. I have this little tail coming out the middle here, and I just couldn't get it to go where I want it, so I went ahead and I cut it out, and I'm just going to add some glue to it, and then I'll just glue it on to some place up here on top of this other ribbon. So instead of coming out the top of everything, it'll be underneath. So if you have that problem, just trim it and then glue it where you need it to be. Alright, so I have finished putting everything that I want to put on there. I do have an extra thing of leaves here. I feel like that is nice and full. I don't want to cover too much of the wreath, because then we'll lose the shape, and we want to be able to see that it is a pumpkin. Unfortunately, up here on the top, I am hiding my little, you know, the little stem here, but that's okay. Here's a little string where we're going to hang it from. I've gone ahead and also glued down the ends of the ribbon. Here, the little tails, these are not glued down, but these are, because I think I had tried to glue this one down, but it's not glued. Anyway, I've glued them down because they keep moving around, and I want them to stay in a certain spot. They were being a little bit, you know, a little bit stubborn. So all I'm doing now is just continuing to fluff up my bow and make sure everything looks pretty. Some of these little flower stems and some of these leaves did get tucked into my bow somewhere and glued into that. So there, you can see that closely. I am going to pan the camera around everything nice and close so that you can see that at the end. And just as I thought I was done, I have these Grapevine balls here. There's the label. I got these last year at Target. They're from their dollar spot. You can see there that I paid $3 for this little bag. I was thinking, okay, that's enough. It's too much already on my wreath. But you know what? I'm gonna grab a couple of these and put them on there. I don't want to use the really big ones, so I'll use these little ones. I'm just gonna add some glue and just kind of tuck them in and let them grab onto one of the loops of the bow. Look at that, just a little touch. You can put them on the little raffia bits hanging and kind of let them dangle if you want. You know what, I think I'm just gonna use a couple. I'm gonna use one more up here, making sure the glue is facing downward. There we go. I think that's good enough. I don't know, maybe I'll add the third one. Yeah, I think I will. And that will be it. All right, everyone, so I've hung up my wreath just so you can see that on the wall, and it looks really, really nice. I love it. There are the little balls that I added last minute. You can add some little tiny little pumpkins, some little acorns, little haystacks, whatever you want. Some little squash. Sometimes there's little mini squashes, little apples, whatever you feel would look beautiful in your fall wreath. And there we go, everyone. And I told you exactly what you can do if you don't find this pumpkin shape. You can always get just 3 regular grapevine wreaths and stack them so that you create that shape. All right, everyone, I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. And leave a kind comment down below and let me know what you think of my project for today. I hope that you enjoyed watching my videos. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and then hit the little notification bell so that you get notified as soon as I upload a video. Thank you all so very much for watching. And as always, enjoy.